Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can work with files in Python, how you can write to a file, how you can read from a file, yeah, most especially text files and JSON files. Yeah, as you know, in web development we mostly use JSON files to share data between front end and back end. So we are going to see how we can work with files, how you can write data to a text file, how you can read data from a text file, how you can write data to every writable file. For example, py.py, you can write a Python, or you can even write a Python file, a .py file. Okay, so let us start. For example, so this is I'm going to show you how you can write to a file. So to write to a file, we are going to use the open function. Okay, so let us see. When opening a file, you can use the open. So for example, we are going to use the open, and it takes two positional arguments. The first one, it is the file, so we put it in form of a string. Okay, so the file name, and even its extension. For example, we have file.txt for text files. Then we specify the mode. Okay, as you can see, the mode. So here we are going to be writing to a file. Then these are the operations. These are all the operations that we can use. Plus, blah blah. There are many. But here I'm going to concentrate on A for appending, for appending, and we have the R for reading, and we have W for writing. This one rewrites the file. Okay, the contents of the file. Okay, so these ones, I'm going to be using these ones. Okay, so we are going to write. So we use the W for writing or creating. Okay, so for write as. Okay, so that's how we can do it. Okay, but let us use the with this one. Okay, the open function. With open this file, we are going to open it as file. Okay, as file. So under this one, it is where we put all what we are going to be doing, all the operations that we are going to perform. So with open, we want to write, so we are going to use the .write, file .write, the name of the file, then dot. These are the operations that we can do on this file. We can write, we can read, but you need to be careful. When you specify R here, you can even specify that you want to read, write, append, everything. Okay, here. But I'm going to only specify only one operations at once, at a go. So we're going to be writing. So write. So file.write, here are you seeing it's a string. So file.write, okay, .write, okay, this is the file. Okay, so this is the file. Then after there, we can use file.close to close our file. Okay, we don't want to leave it open. Don't want there are many disadvantages of this one, of not using the .close, of not closing the file, but I won't talk about them in this video. So after there, then we can run our file like this. So py net.py. Okay, so we are done, and when I try to look in the folder, I think it is here, file.txt. So this is the file. Okay, as you can see, this is the string that we have written in this file. So when we go back, how can we read from this file? How can we see the content of the file? Then we have to change this one to R for reading. Okay, so that's how we can do it. Then this one, we should change it to dot. So dot read for reading. Okay, for reading all the contents. Then these contents, after getting all these contents, the content of the file, what we can do is to store them. So let us create a variable data. We store them in the data variable. Then after there, we need to print, so that we can see the data that we have got. Print data, Control Cell. Remember, we have, this is the data that we have. This is the file. This is the data that we have. Then after, we can print. Are you seeing? This is the file. So that's how we can read data from the file. Even if there are many lines, for example, this is the second line. Okay, this is the third line, like that. We can read them. Okay, so when I run out my file, are you seeing? This is the third file, this is the third line, this is the second line. Are you seeing? This is the file. Okay, so that's how we can read all of them. But we can also read line by line. Okay, so this is how we can do it, to read line by line. So we can get data. Okay, so file.read lines. So let us read line. This one, you see, let me show you what it will do. So when I do this and I run my file, I see this is the file. So we are able to read only the first line. Okay, so but we want to read the last line. So to read the last line, what we can do, we can use the file.readLines. So this one, it returns a list of all the lines of every line here in the form of a string. So when we do this and we try to see, are you seeing? It is a list. Okay, so this is the first line, this is the second line. We want to read the last. Okay, so to read the last, what we can do is to use the negative. So because it is a list, in order to access the last element in this list, we just use the square brackets and then we use the -1 to get the last item from this list. So when we try to do this, I see this is the third line. That's how we can read the last line. Okay, so that's how we can do. But let me show you something. When we try to use the write again, like that, when we try to write again and then we use the write, I told you in the beginning of the video that this write, whenever I reuse it on a file, it rewrites that file. So for example, let me show you. Let me just write my name there, Rashid, and I do this. So let me remove this one. Let me comment out this one. So when I do this, are you seeing the content? The contents that we have, the content. Okay, so when I do this and I run my file again, are you seeing? We only have Rashid. So the file has been rewritten, has been overwritten. Okay, so to avoid this one, what we can do is to use the A, which stands for append. Okay, so this append, it will help us when we use this write. So let me show you. You may think that there is also another one, which is the dot append. Okay, so it is not there. Dot append. Are you seeing? Dot append. It is not there. So for appending, it is not there. So this one we use write again. Okay, we use write. But this write function, what it does, it will just append using this one. This one matters the most. Okay, so with this one we can add another one, another name, Shafiq. Let us add Shafiq. But if we do this, are you going to see? We're going to see the problem that we are going to get. Are you seeing? It is just concatenated. Okay, the last letter, the last word with this one. Okay, on this line, it has just added this name Shafiq on the end of the line. But what if we want this one to be a new line? Okay, this one. What if we want it to be a new line? What we can do is to add the \n, okay, for breaking that line that we are on. Then we push this one to the next line. Okay, so if we press Ctrl and save and run our file, I see we have broken the line, and then we have appended this traffic onto the next line. Okay, so that's how you can use you can write to a text file and read from a text file and also append. But what about JSON files? To use JSON file, we shall need the JSON module. So we need to import the JSON module. So JSON module here, this one, the extension needs to be file.json, like that. Then we are going to write. You can use write, you can use append. It will also create a file. Okay, they will all create a file. So let me use append. Okay, yeah, let me use append. Then I'm going to, instead of using the file.write, here we are going to use our JSON. Okay, so after making this this file appendable or writable, okay, so remember the this JSON module, what it does, yeah, it has dump function, it has dumps, loads, but we are going to use the dump and even the load. Okay, so the dump, it is for putting information into the file, and for load is for loading. Okay, file for loading the contents from the file. Okay, so let us use the load, because no, we have used here append. Here we have used append, so we want to dump, to put something in the file. So let us use dump, and this one, in order to put something in the file, we shall need to, it takes two arguments. The dumps, it takes two arguments. First of all, it takes the object, which is the data. Let us create here our dictionary. You know the formats of the JSON. So let us create our dictionary here. Name, let us name Rashid. Then here age, what is the age? The age is 19. So let us cross this one like that, age 19. Then this is the first argument is our data. Okay, then the second argument, it is the file, the name of the file. So I see it is supports write. Okay, this one needs to be supporting write. Okay, this file, this variable. Okay, so it needs to be supporting write. So here we have made it to support write. Okay, by using this a for appending. Okay, so when we do this and we save our file, so we run, are you seeing? File.json has been created with our data. Are you seeing? It is there, our data is there. So how can we read from this data? Okay, from this file, the file.json, how can we read from it? So to read from it, we are going to use the load. Okay, .load function. Okay, so load, what it does, it JSON.load JSON.load, and this one, it only takes the writable, something which is writable, so which is the file. It only takes the name of the file. Then after getting the content, then we want to store our content in something, in a variable called data. Then we want to print our data. So let us save, run our program. Are you seeing f.reads? Okay. We have forgot to change this one. You know, last time we were appending. Okay, now we want to read. Okay, so we need to change this one to R for reading. Okay, when we save and we do it again, are you seeing? We are getting the content. We are able to get our content. So this variable is now containing this dictionary. Okay, so that's how we can use them. Then there is also, let me show you something. If you don't want to disturb yourself, you can do this. So you can use this one. You can use this one for what? For writing, for appending and append and writing. So I want to show you something, append and writing. So let me show you something here. Let me show you something. So you can use different operations here. As you can see, you can even, yeah, I see you can use even a combinations. Okay, I see all the combination. Try testing out one by one, yeah, and try to use the console, this console, yeah, to observe the errors. For example, here return loads unsupported operation not readable. Okay, and when we saw this one not readable, it means the problem was here or it was somewhere there. Okay, so try to use the console and even the console to see where the error is coming from. Okay, so use file operations one by one and try to see what everything what comes out of everything. Okay, so have a nice day. So have a nice time.